Gran Turismo has a problem. A rather big one, unfortunately, and that is an identity crisis. Many racing games don't have this problem, but Gran Turismo, I think, is beginning to have this issue where they're trying to please too many people all at the same time, which unfortunately is leaving nobody pleased all at the same time. The idea of Gran Turismo being a car culture game is very much so part of the early aspects, the early games of the series, where you can take Honda Preludes, Honda Accords, pretty much anything, and drive it around the Nürburgring, or drive it around Tsukuba, or Suzuka, or any of that. But then, since Gran Turismo Sport, Polyphony has started pushing the game more towards esports, which is very much so about race cars, Group 3 cars, Group 4 cars, high-power race cars. And we're kind of at this point where Gran Turismo is either needing to dive really deep onto the racing side of it to compete with its competitors, or it needs to really make the car culture part of the game absolutely rock solid to say, no, we are not a racing game. We have never been a racing game. We have been all about car culture. So it can stand aside, can stand apart from its competitors. Because nowadays, we really just have high power, high physics simulators. The idea of a racing game is really falling away. The idea of your arcade racing games is really not with us anymore. They're all competing for these simulators. And Gran Turismo has been a simulator since day one. Its tagline, the real driving simulator, should give you that kind of note. So for this topic today, let's discuss which one is it? Is it a car culture game or is it a racing game? Of course, welcome to the channel. My name is Matt, and thank you for joining us today. If you enjoy this content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Fanatec affiliate link down in the description below, and of course, check out my merchandise store at aweo.com/store/Matt51 Westby. I really do think at the heart of Gran Turismo, it is a car culture game. And the idea of these monthly updates being added to include more SUVs and more crossovers, I actually don't mind that. The thing that I struggle with is that they don't really provide much of a reason to use them. So every single month we see a new update with new cars and we go, that's great, but why would we use them? Gran Turismo doesn't have a comprehensive career mode. It just has a couple of menu bugs where you drive a couple of events, you get a couple of cars, and then go to the next one until they're all done. And it feels directionless. It doesn't feel like it has a very solid foundation, which is really unfortunate because it could be a really cool game if it has a career mode that is, okay, you can only use these types of cars, you can only use these types of cars. And I guess the menu books do a little bit of that. But it would have been fun if you are to start out with these crossovers and SUVs and have more events for them. But unfortunately, they don't. And again, I still feel this game is car culture based because of the museums, the amount of information that you can get out of Brand Central and out of the Haggerty Legendary Car Dealership, and the descriptions for all the cars are very nuanced and very involved, and it's great because I learned so much from this game that I wouldn't have learned from any other game about cars, period. So why am I kind of unhappy then? Like I said, lack of career mode is a big reason. But this is now a 3-year-old game? And to be quite frank, people who are playing a 3-year-old racing game are the more hardcore fan base, which is pushing more towards this esports idea. The individuals that really like race cars and really like getting the best out of their lap times, and they're willing to put hours and hours and hours, week after week, month after month, year after year, to try to perfect all of these times against their friends in the sport mode and all of that. Super GT just made a very good video on this about, since the, I want to say 2023, that's when the Mercedes 2020, the Group 3 Evo, finally came out. And I think that was the most recent Group 3 car. But keep in mind, their sport mode has, quite seriously, constant Group 3 events and constant Group 4 events. It's a question why they don't add more up-to-date race cars. I mean, if they started out with race cars that were from 2022 when the game was released, that would be one thing. But the majority of the Group 3s were already 10 years old, which is like a massive problem. If you want to push the game more towards an esports racing game like Rensport or Assetto Corsa Competizione and all the rest of it, you gotta have recent cars, and they don't. And the majority of the Group 3, I want to say that Group 3 is about 70 to 80, 90 cars of the car list, so it's massive. And there's one of them that is kind of recent. It's nuts. And for the life of me, I do not understand what that decision is, because it is very evident that because of Gran Turismo Sport, because of Gran Turismo World Series, because of the sport mode where you have constant Group 3s and Group 4s, even a paid DLC with new and recent Group 3 cars would be appreciated, you know? But the fact that the 458 is still being used when they missed out on the 488, and by the time Gran Turismo 8 is coming out, the 296 Evo will have been out, and maybe even that car's replacement will have been announced. And will we even see the 296? I don't even know. If they still have the 458 in the game, I'm going to be mad. If they replace it with a 488, I'm going to be mad. But it's like you have, and even going further, I haven't even touched on the hypercars, which I think would have been amazing if they got into the LMDH and whatnot. They showed interest by having the GR010 from 2021, so they're aware that hypercars exist. So, again, they're bringing cars that the car culture people that bought this game for it, they've completed the game, they've moved on. They're not coming back to do a random race at the Nürburgring in a Toyota Aqua. They did that on release. They're not coming back to try out the new SUV, to try it on Tsukuba. They're gone. Those millions of sales that you had on launch and since launch, those people are gone. So if you want to please the people that are still here, that are still making you money, that are still telling their friends about it and trying to get racing groups together and getting new people into the game so they can get into the sport mode, you would think that race cars would be a very important aspect, and it's not. So yeah, it just beats me the direction, or more or less, I think the result of all of this is simply the lack of direction, because there's a very good comment in one of the threads that was discussing all this a week ago. Was this game is giving the feeling that it wants to give a little bit for everyone, but it turns out there's nothing for anyone, if that makes sense, because it feels like that we've got this very comprehensive sport mode with lots of Group 3 cars, with lots of Group 4 cars. You would think that that would be enough to satisfy the long-term fans that are hardcore, that are into the game, that want to continue to play the game, but it's not enough. Then you've got this car culture-based side of the game that, by adding SUVs and crossovers and stuff, would really add to the richness and the diversity and the history of the game, which it does. But the people who would appreciate those aren't here to appreciate them. So, to go back to the question of who was Gran Turismo 7 really made for? I think the answer is Kazunori Yamauchi. I think this game is made for Kaz. There's nobody else on the planet that is in his position, but it feels like this game is a hodgepodge of race cars from 10 years ago when he was racing. And then you've got these more recent crossovers, partly because there's a marketing push. I can guarantee you that there's a deal with Nissan or a deal with some of these car companies. They say, hey Kaz, we'll give you some money and we'll give you the CAD designs to our new recent crossover if you put it in your game. And you go, sure, yeah, I'll make some extra money by putting your 2021 crossover in the game, you know? It's just... the game feels directionless. The game feels like it didn't have a great solid foundation. The lack of a comprehensive career mode was really irritating. And yet, I'm still playing this, so... I don't know. It's just... I don't want to be too negative, because again, at the end of the day, this is... the racing, the graphics, the experience is what brings me back day in, day out. But there are just so many things about this game that make you question what the hell are they thinking, you know? So, to answer all of that, let me know what your guys' answer to it is. Do you feel that this game was made for car enthusiasts of a car culture idea, or is it made for the esports racing enthusiasts? Let me know down in the comment section down below what your guys' thoughts are. Are you happy with the new updates? Are you very irritated with the new updates? Like I said, let me know your opinions down in the description below. Of course, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Fanatec affiliate link down in the description below. And of course, check out my merchandise store at oeo.com/store/Matt51Westby. Again, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day today. Take care. Bye!